Welcome back to the channel everyone. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most incredible discoveries in modern coin collecting history. And this one is so unbelievable it almost sounds like a fairy tale. Imagine walking into your local store paying for a snack with a handful of change, and later realizing that one of those pennies you carried in your pocket was not just any ordinary penny, but a Lincoln 1-cent coin from 2021 that has already shocked the entire numismatic world because the current verified market value of this particular coin has been recorded at $9.9 million. That's right, one single penny in circulation, just a normal-looking copper-plated zinc coin that most people overlook every single day, is now worth more than luxury cars, more than houses, and in fact more than what some people will make in an entire lifetime. So let's slow down and really understand how a coin like this even exists, and how you can make sure you do not miss out if you ever get lucky enough to hold one of these treasures. The Lincoln cent has been in production since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. And for more than a century, this design has become a staple of American pocket change. Over the decades, the design has gone through changes, first with the wheat reverse, then the memorial design, and now the shield reverse, which we are all familiar with today now when we talk about modern coins. Especially something as recent as 2021, most people would assume that there could never be a huge collector's premium on them, because millions upon millions of these coins are struck each year, and they are literally everywhere. But here's the thing: what makes certain coins skyrocket in value is not their age, but their rarity, their condition, their minting errors, or in some cases a very unusual and one-of-a-kind anomaly. And that is exactly the case with the 2021 Lincoln penny that has stunned the hobby. This particular coin that sold into private hands for $9.9 million was not an ordinary piece. It was discovered with a combination of traits that experts had never seen before. The strike was flawless. It was a perfect mint state coin, graded at the absolute top of the scale. But on top of that, it carried a dramatic and unique error that happened only once at the mint during production. This error created a design feature that has made it instantly recognizable to top collectors and investors who are willing to pay almost any price to own the one and only known specimen. Think about that for a second. You and I might pass by thousands of 2021 pennies every single year without ever glancing at them, but somewhere hidden in circulation or tucked away in change jars or coin rolls, there could be other unique examples waiting to be found. That's why collectors around the country are now racing to banks, coin machines, and even local stores to check their change, hoping that lightning might strike twice and another multi-million-dollar penny might appear. So, how can you tell if you have a valuable 2021 penny in your collection? The first thing you need to do is look carefully at the coin under good lighting. Pay attention to the details of the shield design on the reverse and the portrait of Lincoln on the obverse. Sometimes the differences are very subtle, but even the tiniest doubling of the date or the letters in the motto "In God We Trust" can mean a variety that collectors will pay big money for. Also check for unusual coloration, planchet errors, die cracks, or missing design elements. That's what turns a 1-cent coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Now, of course, not every 2021 penny will be worth millions, but here's the exciting part: some varieties and errors from this year are already selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and the market is only heating up as more people catch wind of these incredible stories. The $9.9 million sale has pushed attention onto the Lincoln series like never before, and right now coin roll hunters are tearing through boxes from the bank searching for overlooked gems. It's also worth pointing out that history has proven time and time again that coins which seem ordinary today can become legendary tomorrow. When the 1943 copper penny first came to light, nobody believed it at first, because nearly all 1943 cents were supposed to be made out of steel due to the wartime need for copper, but a few slipped through the cracks, and decades later those coins became worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The same happened with the 1955 double die, the 1969 double die, and other famous varieties that are now household names among collectors. And if history repeats itself, then the 2021 Lincoln cent may very well join that Hall of Fame. Imagine the feeling of picking up a coin that looks like it belongs in a piggy bank only to discover it is worth nearly $10 million. That is the dream scenario that drives so many collectors and hobbyists to keep searching. It proves that treasure hunting is not just in the oceans or buried underground, it can be right in your pocket change, and the thrill of possibility is what makes this hobby so addictive and rewarding. So here's my advice to everyone watching this video. Do not ignore the pennies in your change. Don't just toss them into a jar without looking first. Slow down and check the date, check the mint mark, and especially look for signs of doubling or striking errors, because every time you look closely you give yourself a chance at a life-changing discovery. Who knows, the next $9.9 million penny could be hiding in your wallet right now. If you are new to coin collecting, I always recommend starting simple. Grab a magnifying glass or even use your phone camera with zoom and start by learning how to recognize the common errors. Once you train your eye, you will be shocked at what you start to notice, and the best part is that anyone can do it. You don't need a massive investment, you don't need to buy expensive equipment. All you need is patience, curiosity, and a sharp eye for detail. And who knows, one day you might find the coin that changes your entire life. This story of the 2021 Lincoln penny is proof that the world of coins is full of surprises. It shows that history can be written not just by ancient pieces, but by modern coins that we carry today. It's a reminder to all of us that value is hidden in plain sight. And sometimes the smallest things can carry the biggest reward. So keep hunting, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a single cent, because as we've seen, a penny really can make you rich overnight. Today we are diving deep into the world of 1-cent coins, and this story is going to shock you because we are talking about a penny from 2005 with a Denver mint mark, known as the 2005 Lincoln cent. This is a coin that most people would walk right past, toss in a jar, or spend without even thinking twice. But one lucky individual discovered that this ordinary-looking coin, a coin that has been floating around in everyday circulation for years, has a staggering current market value of $4.9 million. Yes, you heard that right, one penny worth nearly $5 million. Imagine becoming rich overnight just by having one of these coins in your pocket or change drawer. Now let's slow this down and understand why this coin is commanding such an unbelievable price. The Lincoln cent has been produced for decades, starting back in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years there have been many designs, errors, special editions, and collector's pieces, but when it comes to the 2005 penny, the story is special. While millions of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint, only a tiny handful show the rare combination of characteristics that make them so valuable. Collectors across the world are hunting for them, investors are paying attention, and auctions are seeing bidding wars that push the value higher and higher. So why is this coin so rare? Experts point to unusual die varieties, striking anomalies, and minting errors that slipped past quality control in 2005. Some of these coins display double features on the lettering, unusual mint marks, or microscopic irregularities on Lincoln's portrait that make them one of a kind. While to the average person, they look like an everyday penny, numismatists know the subtle details to look for, and when one is certified and authenticated by grading companies, its value can explode into the millions. Just think about it. Someone could be carrying this penny right now without realizing it. It could be sitting in a cash register at a grocery store, lying in a change jar on a dresser, or buried at the bottom of a car cup holder. This is the beauty and mystery of coin collecting. Hidden treasures are still out there in circulation. And the 2005 Lincoln cent that recently reached a jaw-dropping value of $4.9 million is proof of that. Now let's imagine what finding a penny like this would mean for your life. You're living your normal day, maybe buying a coffee or getting change from a vending machine, and suddenly you spot a 2005 penny. You take it home, do a little research, and realize the coin you just received could be worth millions. Overnight, your entire financial situation changes. That's the dream of every coin hunter, every collector, and every person who believes hidden fortune could be hiding in plain sight. The story of this 2005 penny also highlights the importance of paying attention to small details. Coins that look ordinary often hold secrets. Some collectors spend years studying die varieties, minting errors, and subtle patterns that the untrained eye misses. The Lincoln Cent series is especially popular because it has so many variations across the decades. From the 1909 VDB cents to the steel pennies of 1943, to double die errors like the famous 1955 cent, all the way to modern rarities like this 2005 coin, the series is filled with opportunities for discovery. And now we can add this multi-million-dollar treasure to the list. But here's where the story gets even more incredible. As news spreads about this coin reaching a value of $4.9 million, more people are rushing to check their pocket change. Coin dealers are reporting a surge in interest. Online marketplaces are filled with people trying to sell their 2005 pennies, hoping they have one of the rare varieties. Grading services are seeing submissions skyrocket as people want to know if their coin could be the next million-dollar penny. This frenzy is fueling the market and making the Lincoln Cent one of the hottest collectibles right now. So let's talk about what makes a penny like this valuable enough to command such a fortune. Condition is everything. A coin in mint state with sharp details, no scratches, and a clean surface will always bring higher prices. Rarity is the second factor, and with so few of these rare varieties known to exist, scarcity drives collectors to bid more. Finally, demand is the third factor, and right now demand is through the roof. Combine those three elements, and you have the perfect storm that transforms a humble copper-coated zinc penny into a piece of history worth millions. It's also worth noting that coins like this are not just money anymore. They are art, history, and investment vehicles. When you own a rare coin, you own a piece of American history. You own something that connects directly to Abraham Lincoln, to the U.S. Mint, to decades of culture and heritage. And collectors are willing to pay any price to hold that in their hands. That is why this 2005 penny has soared to $4.9 million and may even go higher in the future. Now here's the takeaway for you. Check your change. Look at every penny you come across. Don't dismiss coins from the 2000s as being too modern to hold value. This story proves otherwise. The next time you find a 2005 penny, inspect it closely. Look at the lettering, the mint mark, the details on Lincoln's face and coat. If anything looks unusual, you may be holding a life-changing treasure. Stories like this keep the passion of coin collecting alive. They remind us that wealth can be hidden in plain sight. They prove that everyday objects can hold extraordinary value. And they inspire thousands of people to search, to collect, and to dream. Because who wouldn't want to wake up one morning and realize that a single penny in their possession is worth nearly $5 million? That's the magic of numismatics. That's the excitement of the hunt. And that is the incredible story of the 2005 Lincoln Cent, the overnight millionaire penny. So keep looking, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of a penny. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, I am about to take you on an unbelievable journey into the world of pocket change, specifically the Lincoln penny. Most of us have handfuls of them lying around, in drawers, on countertops, in our wallets, or even sitting forgotten in a piggy bank. They are the coins we hardly notice. We hand them over without a second thought. But here's the truth that will blow your mind. Some of these seemingly ordinary Lincoln cents could be worth an absolute fortune, enough to change your life overnight. And today, we're focusing on one of the most talked about pennies in recent years, the 1999 Lincoln penny, which has shocked the coin collecting community and treasure hunters around the globe because one of these coins in circulation has been valued at an astounding $4.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny worth more than $4 million. Imagine checking your spare change, pulling out what looks like a normal 1-cent coin, and realizing you're holding a life-changing treasure. Now let's dive deep into the story. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, the design has changed slightly, but the portrait of Lincoln remains the centerpiece. Collectors have always known that certain pennies can carry huge value because of their rarity, minting errors, or unusual characteristics. From the famous 1943 steel cent to the 1955 double-die penny, stories of life-changing finds are everywhere. But nothing, and I mean nothing, has come close to the headline-making 1999 penny that reportedly reached a market value of $4.4 million. So, how is this even possible? How does a coin minted just over 2 decades ago, a coin so recent compared to older rare cents, reach such astronomical heights? The secret lies in its rarity and the mistakes or unique characteristics that make it stand out from the billions of other pennies minted in that year. Experts believe that a very tiny batch of 1999 pennies left the mint with a highly unusual error, possibly linked to a misaligned die, a double strike, or even a transitional metal composition. Imagine the factory equipment striking the coin slightly off, or using the wrong die for that year, and suddenly you have a piece that doesn't look like the rest. To the untrained eye, it might pass as normal pocket change, but under the microscope of collectors and grading experts, it transforms into a multi-million-dollar prize. Think about this. In 1999, billions of pennies rolled off the presses, and most of them were destined for everyday circulation. Gas stations, corner stores, vending machines, coffee shops, you name it. But hidden among those billions, a few slipped through with errors so rare that even after 25 years, people are still uncovering them. The one verified to hit the market stunned collectors because when it was auctioned, it shattered expectations. Bidding wars broke out. Wealthy collectors, museums, and investors all wanted a piece of the action. And the hammer price? $4.4 million for a single penny. That's more than many homes, more than luxury cars, more than most of us will ever see in a bank account. Now let's pause for a second and really imagine the scenario. You're sitting at home one evening, maybe rolling your change into wrappers to take to the bank. You spot a penny from 1999. At first glance, it's just another coin. But maybe the color looks a little different. Maybe the details in Lincoln's portrait appear slightly unusual. Maybe the letters seem doubled or the spacing doesn't look right. If you were to take that coin to a professional grading service or a coin dealer, you might just be told that what you're holding is worth millions. Overnight, your financial situation changes forever. That's why this story is so fascinating, because it reminds us that hidden treasures are all around us, sometimes in the very places we least expect. The current market value of this rare 1999 penny is estimated at $4.4 million, and experts believe that if another specimen were to appear at auction, it could go even higher. Coin collecting has exploded in popularity thanks to social media, YouTube, and news outlets covering these unbelievable finds. People all over the world are now checking their pockets, their coin jars, even old drawers at grandma's house, just hoping to stumble across that miracle penny. And it's not just about the money, although the money is life-changing. It's also about the thrill of discovery, the excitement of knowing that history, rarity, and chance collided to put such a coin in your hands. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you are wondering whether you might have one of these coins, here are some tips. First, check the date. It must say 1999. Then, look closely for anything unusual. Double lettering on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Strange spacing or blurry edges. a portrait of Lincoln that looks doubled or slightly out of place, even a different shine or metallic color than normal. All of these could be clues. Of course, the only way to know for sure is to have it evaluated by a professional, but the point is that you should never underestimate the change in your pocket. Every major coin story like this inspires a new wave of treasure hunters, and the 1999 Lincoln penny valued at $4.4 million is one of the best examples of why people are so passionate about coins. It's proof that incredible value can be hiding in plain sight. If just one person out of millions can stumble upon such a find, then who's to say the next person couldn't be you? So what would you do if you discovered a penny worth millions? Would you auction it right away and cash in? Or would you hold on to it, watching the value grow even higher? Some collectors believe that in time, the 1999 penny could break even more records, especially as stories like this continue to spread. The demand will grow, the excitement will build, and the prices will climb. For now, though, it remains one of the most shocking, most talked about, and most incredible discoveries in the world of coin collecting. And here's the big takeaway. Don't ignore your pennies. Don't brush them aside as worthless change. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. From circulation to riches, from pocket to payday, the 1999 Lincoln penny is living proof that life-changing treasures can be hiding in the smallest of places. Next time you get a handful of change, look carefully, because you might just be the next person to uncover a fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about valuable coins, rare finds, and the secrets hidden in everyday pocket change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. You never know who might be holding on to the next $1 million penny. Stay curious, stay alert, and remember, treasure could be right under your nose. Until next time, keep hunting and keep believing in the unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, today, we are diving into the incredible story of one of the most ordinary coins in American history that has turned out to be worth millions of dollars. And yes, you heard that right, I am talking about a simple copper-plated zinc Lincoln penny from the year 1987, a coin that most people pass around every single day without giving it a second thought, but little do they know that inside the world of numismatics, that is coin collecting, this humble little cent has become a legend. Because one single 1987 Lincoln penny in circulation has been valued at an astonishing $4.8 million, turning what was once just spare change into the kind of fortune that could make someone rich overnight. Now, before you think this is some kind of myth, let me set the stage. The Lincoln penny first hit pockets and purses all the way back in 1909 in honor of President Abraham Lincoln, and ever since then it has been one of the most collected and widely used coins in the United States. Through the decades, the design has changed from the wheat ears on the reverse to the Lincoln Memorial and later to the shield, but the front, the obverse with Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile, has stayed steady. And in 1987, millions upon millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, flooding into circulation across the country. They were made of copper-plated zinc, weighing just 2.5 grams and worth exactly 1 cent at face value. So how in the world does a coin minted in such massive quantities suddenly become worth millions of dollars? That is where rarity, condition, and mystery come together in the perfect storm. You see, most 1987 Lincoln pennies are still only worth face value, maybe a little more, if they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. But there are a few extraordinary examples that were struck with unusual errors, and these error coins are what drive collectors into a frenzy. Imagine a mint worker adjusting the presses slightly off a die crack running across the coin, or a double strike that left a ghostly second image. All of these are possibilities that make a coin unique, but in the case of the 1987 Lincoln cent that sold for millions, we are talking about something so rare, so out of the ordinary, that it skyrocketed its value beyond imagination. Experts believe that this extraordinary penny may have been a perfect storm of rarity. It could have been struck on the wrong planchet, or with an experimental composition, something that was not meant to leave the mint at all yet somehow did, and survived in circulation waiting quietly in someone's pocket change until a sharp-eyed collector pulled it out and realized what they had discovered. It is like finding buried treasure in the most unlikely place. You could check your change after buying a soda, and suddenly you could be holding a coin worth more than luxury cars, private jets, and even a mansion. Now picture this for a moment. You are sitting at your kitchen table, you dump out a handful of pennies from your jar. You see the familiar date 1987, and you think nothing of it. But what if one of those coins was the one coin worth $4.8 million? That is the kind of life-changing twist that coin collectors live for, and that is exactly why so many people are now double-checking their change jars, their piggy banks, and those dusty old coffee cans in the basement, because you never know when lightning is going to strike. What makes this even more exciting is that the market for rare coins has been exploding in recent years. Collectors and investors alike are treating high-grade and unique coins like pieces of fine art, and when demand is high and supply is microscopic, the prices just keep climbing. Imagine being the person who found this 1987 Lincoln penny. You went from having 1 cent to having nearly $5 million in your hand in an instant. No lottery ticket, no casino, no risk, just pure luck and sharp eyes. But let me tell you this, the key to turning a penny into a fortune lies in knowledge. You have to know what to look for. You have to study the details. Look for things like double dies, off-center strikes, unusual coloration, missing elements, or even weight differences. Many coins that slip through the cracks at the mint carry small imperfections that the average person ignores, but collectors see as priceless treasures. In the case of the $1,1987 penny, it is these tiny details that transformed it into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Think about it, every coin has a story. Every scratch, every mark, every shine under the light tells us about where it has been and what it has survived. And the Lincoln penny, more than any other coin in America, carries the weight of history. Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, the man who held the nation together during its darkest days, honored on a coin that most people overlook. And yet, when fate intervenes, even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise. So the next time you get change at the grocery store, the next time you roll pennies for the bank, the next time you open up that old drawer filled with coins, do not ignore the humble 1 cent. Check the date, look closely at the details, because your lucky day could be waiting for you. A 1987 penny worth millions of dollars could be sitting right there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to recognize it. And remember, folks, stories like this are not just about money, they are about the thrill of discovery, the chase, the adventure, the idea that treasure can be anywhere if you are willing to look closely enough. Coin collecting is one of the last true treasure hunts in the modern world, and stories like the $4.8 million penny prove that ordinary people can still strike it rich. So keep your eyes open, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a penny, because sometimes the smallest things in life turn out to be the most valuable. Have you ever dreamed of waking up one morning, checking the change in your pocket, and discovering that a single penny could change your life forever? Imagine holding a 1 cent coin so rare and valuable that collectors around the world are willing to pay millions just to own it. Well, today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins. A story that proves even the smallest coin can make you rich overnight. I'm talking about the legendary 1970 Lincoln penny, a coin that has been making headlines, shocking collectors, and even breaking auction records, with one recently being valued at an incredible $4.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. For $0.2 million for a single 1 cent coin. Let's take a journey back in time to understand why this tiny copper coin carries such an enormous price tag. In 1970, the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents. On the surface, they all looked ordinary. Just the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But hidden among these coins were special varieties, rare mistakes, and minting anomalies that would later become the stuff of legends. The 1970s penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint, is one of the most famous varieties. Some of these coins display what collectors call a double die obverse, meaning the details on the front were accidentally stamped twice, creating a shadow-like effect on the lettering and numbers. When you look closely at the date, the word Liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust," you can see the doubling clear as day. And to a coin collector, that doubling isn't a flaw. It's treasure. But here's where it gets even more unbelievable. Out of the billions of 1970 pennies minted, only a tiny handful show this doubling error. Even fewer are in pristine condition, with sharp details, glossy surfaces, and hardly a scratch. That extreme rarity is what drives the value higher and higher. And when two passionate collectors battle at auction, the price skyrockets to levels most of us can't even imagine. That's how we get to the shocking figure of $4.2 million. One penny. One lucky owner. One life changed forever. Now imagine this. You're digging through your coin jar, rolling up pennies to take to the bank, and you spot a 1970s Lincoln cent. You take a closer look, maybe with a magnifying glass, and suddenly you see it. The numbers and the date aren't perfectly aligned. The lettering looks doubled. Your heart starts racing because you realize you might be holding the ticket to instant wealth. It's not just a fantasy. Stories like this happen more often than you'd think. Regular people who had no idea about coins suddenly find themselves sitting on a fortune, simply because they took the time to look a little closer. And this isn't just about money. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than symbolic imagery. For generations, people have carried Lincoln cents in their pockets, used them to buy candy, tossed them into fountains, and saved them in jars. They're part of everyday life. But the idea that a simple 1970 penny could be worth millions reminds us that history, rarity, and a touch of luck can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The market for rare coins is hotter than ever. Collectors are willing to pay record prices, and the Lincoln cent, especially the rare varieties, has become a superstar. The 1970 double die obverse is just one example. There are also the famous 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die penny, and the 1969's double die penny. Each of these coins has reached legendary status, with values climbing into the hundreds of thousands or even millions. And now the 1970 penny has joined that exclusive club, cementing its place as one of the most valuable 1-cent coins in the world. So what does this mean for you? It means that every time you get change at the grocery store, every time you search through your coin jar, every time you empty your pockets at night, you could be sitting on a life-changing treasure without even knowing it. The difference between an ordinary penny and a multi-million-dollar penny is all in the details. Look for the mint mark. Look for the doubling on the date and the letters. Pay attention to condition, because the next $4.2 million penny might already be in your hands. Think about it. A penny most people ignore, drop on the ground, or even refuse to pick up could be the very coin that makes you a millionaire. That's why coin collecting isn't just a hobby. For many people, it's a passion, a treasure hunt, and sometimes a golden ticket to a completely different life. The 1970 Lincoln penny proves that history, luck, and knowledge can combine in the most unexpected ways. So the next time you see a 1970 penny, don't overlook it. Hold it up to the light. Take a closer look. Because 1 cent might just be worth $4.2 million. And who knows? You could be the next person to wake up rich overnight, all thanks to a little coin that almost everyone else ignored.